here's the host of the Recovery Alley, Jeff Neenstead.
How's everybody doing tonight? It's welcome to another edition of Recovery Alley. Don't you love the entrance when Jeff talks like this? It just cracks me up, man. And that's where even talking to him during any type of digital marketing I do with him. Oh, Marcelo, I need you to do this. I love the guy. Anyway, tonight we have really a great show for you. But further ado, I want to bring Jeff in so he can explain and tell us a little bit about the guest tonight. So let's bring Jeff in. Let me see if I can figure this out because, I always mess this up. Here we go, guys. There he is.
Hey, Marcelo, how you doing this
evening? How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, me and you will talk later, okay? Anyways, we've got Jeff Poquette with Tow Business Podcast. He's also with Southside Wrecker in Georgia, one of the largest heavy-duty towing companies in Georgia. He is also part of the National Open Commerce Safer Highways Coalition with me. We've been busy trying to get the word out about this FTC rule and stuff, and there's an email thread between us, and Jeff had sent an email. We can just go on and bring Jeff in, so we can just go on and hit on this right now.
We'll do. Oh, y'all be safe out there. Wolverine up.
So, you know what I'm talking about, Jeff. You had been up to the Miller Rotator class, 160 people in a room, and we've been talking about this deal and working on it for just a little more than 90 days at this point in time. This came on like a forest fire, but you sent an email saying that out of 160 people, when they were asked if they knew about the FTC rule on hidden junk and excessive fees, I'm going to imagine you raised your hand. So 5 people, including Jeff, out of 160 people in the towing industry, that's all that knew about this FTC rule. And I think, Jeff, you'll probably agree with me. One of the problems I think that the towing industry has had for decades when it comes to regulation, they'll be looming over our head, and we'll say, "Well, let's just wait and see what's going to happen." That we've had that wait and see, and we're to the point now where we can no longer have our head in the sand. It's here. Go on and give it to us, Jeff.
So thanks for having me on. And I want to say up front, I'm having computer issues, so I'm on my phone. If you guys see my phone tip over, hey, cut me some slack. But it was about 2 weeks ago. I was up at the Miller Rotator School, and day one, John Hawkins with Miller asked who in the room was aware of the FTC rulemaking. And I looked around, and I was what was the term I used? Disgustingly disappointed?
It was disappointedly interested.
Interestingly disappointed? So it broke my heart, right? So we know it's a room of towers. You're going to get a bunch of non-participants. There may have been a few more, but when out of 160 people, you see 5 hands come up and one of them is yours, it's concerning. Because this is such a huge issue for our industry, and the coalition has been around 90 days, right? This has been going on since, I'm looking at this here, October 2022, this whole FTC rulemaking started.
Right. And then we in November is when FTC submitted the rule change, opened public comments up for 30 days. If I remember correctly, January 7th, they extended it another 30 days. We're just giving you a little bit of the timeline here.
Yep.
So on February 7th, FTC, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration went to FTC and pretty much handed them the towing industry. And we said, we think this might be part of this rule. And I don't know how many people have seen the white paper, but when you hear our industry mentioned as a predator 252 times in a 50-page white paper, it kind of ticks you off a little bit, you know. And then they got the bunk ATRI study, so you fill it in from there.
Yeah, so the ATRI study, we first brought this up on one of our shows last year. We came across the request for information that they put out to their members, and their questions were very leading, right? It wasn't, do you feel you've been taken advantage of by a predatory tower? It was, tell us about all the times you've been a victim of predatory towing, right? They're trying to suck the worst of the worst out of trucking company and insurance companies' stories. They were focused on achieving a certain result with that report. They kind of tried to present it as if they were some independent research institute. I mean, it's not. Every email attached to it is a large trucking company. It's like a who's who of national trucking companies. And so it was the questions, you know, the survey they put out was very leading and not fair at all to our industry. Then as soon as they got it, you know, we knew they were doing that, but we never saw this coming, right? And one of our first conversations when, the coalition didn't even exist yet. It was one of our initial conversations where we all got together on a Zoom meeting. You know, we're like, how did we miss this? How did we miss it? It was only one day.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, the tactic they use is something that we use in legislation, but waiting till the last day of public comment.
Yep.
I mean, the 11th hour, and we have no chance to make a comment. None.
Yeah, so that pretty much discludes us from the rest of the process because we're not part of the process. We didn't meet the deadline. No tower did. No towing entity did. No association. We didn't know. We had one day. By the time the word got to us, the comment period has closed. What do we do?
Well, we do just what we did under the tutelage and the direction of several industry leading individuals with, you know, Ron Myers, Quinn Pining, and Quinn says, hello, Jill. He called us gentlemen. That's pretty nice. But we're part of the founders of the coalition, and we've got a great group of people. I mean, these are industry leaders. You know, when you're talking about Quinn Pining out of California, Ron Myers out of Ohio, yourself out of Georgia. We got James Bennett right here in Fort Worth, Texas. We're not playing around. And now, again, we're a little over 90 days into this, so we had to take those first few weeks to try to start molding this nucleus and build the bylaws and do all this stuff. It's been a huge challenge, but I honestly, we're a little quiet right now because I think we're in that spot where we don't know who our allies are. We don't know who our adversaries are. And we're still kind of touching gloves with a lot of people. But we've got a lot of good stuff going on. I was busy today and I missed the meeting. But I know you got a lot more to talk about, Jeff.
So, hey, I know this doesn't make for good radio, but I feel like it would be good to read two sections off our coalition's white paper, right? The what we're doing and the call to action. Do you have a problem with me just reading through this real quick?
Not at all, sir. Not at all. I think they need to hear it. All
right. National Open Commerce Safer Highway Commission Coalition, what we are doing. We're an organization of committed towing and recovery companies, state trade associations, allied businesses, and the men and women employed to keep our roads open and safe. We know that the proposed FTC rule and actions of the FMCSA are part of a much broader effort, and we must be prepared. To that end, the coalition has taken immediate action to retain the highest caliber and well-respected legal counsel in Washington, D.C., with specific FTC and transportation expertise to represent our industry. All right, so we've retained legal counsel, we've got lobbyists, we're laying the groundwork to build this coalition, and it happened fast. And I really feel, despite it happening so quickly, I really feel we've got the best people involved right now to represent the coalition and the entire towing industry, right? We retain the federal representation to engage members of Congress regarding oversight, the FTC and the FMCSA, right? We also want to inform members and the towing community of all political and legislative activity that affects the industry, right? So that's where we kind of, I don't even want to say fell short by letting this come past us, because it was very sneaky. I think it was very, very deliberate, the tricks they used to get where they're at, right? So now we've got an entire team. We've got the towers. And it's not just towers. We're in talks with any industry, any association that touches our industry, right? Equipment suppliers. Whoever you could think of. Anyone that could come in, people that distributors, anyone who can come on board, because look, this is going to affect the towing industry as a whole. It's not just going to hurt the towers, right? So here's the call.
When we talk about a whole, let's talk about. We're just going to go on and say, let's talk about Jordan. Let's talk about Miller. Let's talk about Dynamic. Let's talk about all these manufacturers. And it just gets, the snowball gets bigger on how many people that this will affect. It's just not the tow truck driver driving down the road, picking a broke down car off the highway. It's everybody involved, from the people that make the rigging, the equipment. There's so many people, and we have the legal analysis. We know what this bill can do.
Yep.
There's so many people that haven't even looked at that to know what's actually going on.
So here's the call to action. This is what the coalition is asking of the industry and everyone related to our industry. For far too long, the towing and recovery industry has been underrepresented and without proactive engagement to solve these problems. This newly formed coalition will speak with a united voice and an unwavering commitment to fight this erroneous and unnecessary regulatory action and prepare the industry for the battles ahead. This industry will never be silent again. Be sure this is a 911 emergency for our industry that requires all hands on deck. This regulation, if enacted, and it is, right? If enacted, will negatively impact our operations, livelihood, and industry, and has the potential to be profound and devastating. Therefore, we need every tower to join this crucial effort and support this fight.
At a fight, it will be. And we're just looking at this FTC. Well, that's right. What's right in front of us right now. That's our 5-alarm fire that we're trying to put out. Our lobbyists are in communication with FTC. We're going to have to see where that goes. But, we're not sitting here on our hands. We're doing something every week. We're doing something. I want to remind everybody that at the Texas the American Towman Tow Expo in Fort Worth, Texas, on the 22nd, the coalition will have another Q&A. It's going to be, like I said, on Saturday, the 22nd, room 108 in the Fort Worth Convention Center, where we're going to talk more and give you the best update information we have at that time.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of keeping the website current. So any new news that's coming in, anything we've got to get out to the public, to the towers, everybody, it's all somebody's watching. I'm sorry. Somebody apparently is watching from my basement. I believe that's my co-host on Tow Business Podcast, Brad, cracking that joke there. Yeah. But we really need to focus on getting this out to the industry at this point, right? We're well versed in this entire subject, but when I see 5 hands raised out of 160, what are we missing? How do we get this out there? I think we start with shows like this and shows like ours. I don't even know how to explain just the feeling I had when I first saw this news come down and knew that we missed the comment period, right? We're used to like state legislation, maybe every once in a while something touches on federal legislation with our industry, but FTC rulemaking is a whole different beast. You're not calling your local legislators and saying, "Hey, this is bad. Hey, I contributed last year to your campaign." That's not what this is about. We don't have those avenues to take. This
is serious. I mean, let's talk about $51,000 plus fines for each occurrence. Now, a small mom and pop operation with 4 or 5 trucks, you put them out of business. Put them out of business. And I mean, we think about some of the things that they're coming up with, where they're coming up with this total pricing. So I mean, Jeff, I know you pull up on some pretty hairy stuff. I maybe 1 in 10, I might be able to get close in total pricing, but there's absolutely no way that you could put a price on the stuff we roll up on. And so I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen. So if we get to that spot, our total pricing is probably going to be, there's just so many factors in it. But what happens if the carrier says, "Nah, I don't want your price"? We're out on the highway, 2:00 in the morning in a driving thunderstorm, and this guy says, "No, I don't want to take your price." So this is the deal. Do we just keep the highway shut down until this guy feels comfortable with getting some incompetent company that's underpriced, doesn't have the correct equipment, doesn't have the correct training, and they go out there and they just cause more damage and more problems? And then guess what? They call us back and say, "Okay, we're ready for you." I mean, just imagine the chaos that this is that it could cause on the roadways.
So I saw Sean Mouchard chime in a little while ago. He's one of the hosts with the Towing Life podcast out of Canada. We just need to look to them to see our future.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what they're going through right now. It's insane.
There's trailers being left on the side of the interstates until they get the tower gets there he is. There's no one place the towers can go for information. Our media availability is pretty spread out as well. That's a good point. They're leaving trailers on the side of the road until they get approval from an insurance company to pay the bill, right? So then aren't the customers at that point shooting themselves in the foot, right? If I give this guy let's say an upfront price of $25,000, and if I don't stick to that price, that or below, I'm open to $51,000 fines. So would it not protect me and my company to shoot high and say 30,000?
Once that's where my worry comes in with this total pricing. They're already making light and complaining about predatory towing, excessive hidden fees and all this other stuff. I know we got bad apples out there, unfortunately, but I can guarantee you that myself and Jeff Poquette and the rest of the people with the coalition and the majority of the towing industry does not want predatory towing. That's not what we want. Yeah. We want to go out there. We want to do a job. We are the only industry that is called to a job before we ever know if we're going to get paid for it.
Yep.
And 40 to 60% of the time across the United States, we don't get paid on these.
If you want to talk about a look into the future, we had a show. We recorded at the Washington, D.C. Tow Summit, and we had Mike Matusik, who at that time was with OOIDA, right? He's with ATA now. And look, he didn't just come on the show and start griping and complaining and smashing towers to the ground. He came on and said, "Look, this is the problem," and had sample invoices from companies. And they were shocking. Some of them were shocking. That is just, and one company in particular he kept referencing, it was like massive bill for a small job, massive bill for, unbelievable invoices this company was putting out, right? And look, I've been the guy who has sat back for all these years and said, "Yeah, there's bad apples out there, but I'm sitting over here. I'm minding my own business. I'm doing things the best way I know how to. I didn't think that I would be affected down the road by these bad apples in this way.
You know, we go back to when you talked about the feelings you had when you found out about this, and luckily enough, I was in the loop and was allowed to come into the fold here and be part of this. But I remember after about the second meeting we had, one of the big Zoom meetings, you know, I came home and I told my wife, I said, "Man, this is bad." I said, "You know, there's second, third, fourth generation towers out there. This is all they know, and they're out there doing a good business, and because of some, you know, Johnny come lately that just wants to make a quick buck and then move on to another industry, this can heavily impact all of us."
So I've tried to mind my own business, right? You always think to yourself, well, that person's going to eventually play their way right out of this industry. And now all of a sudden we're here, and I find out that 5 out of 160 people even know it's going on, right? And again, I know there's some non-participants. There's probably more people in there that knew it, but that gives you a pretty good snapshot. And I just don't know. I don't know what a lot of the smaller players are going to do. The larger players, they'll figure it out probably. They've got a little more cushion to figure things out, more time to figure things out. And I don't know, but it's going to affect everyone. And if this affects what we can charge and we get regulated in a bad direction, it's going to affect all our suppliers, our distributors, everything. You know, this is industry wide, and everything that touches our industry, and we've got to get the word out there. We need every single person, please, every single tower listening to this right now. Tomorrow, make sure you let 5 other towers. If it's a slow day, contact 10 towers. 10 of your buddies, 10 companies you're friendly with. Bite the bullet and call the guy down the street you don't really get along with. Make sure he's part of this too. But we've got to get this out here, and with the website. And you've done a show on it. I've done a show. We had Ron and Quinn on ours. I think you had them both on yours too,
Ron
right?
and James.
I mean, okay. So we're out here trying to broadcast this, literally broadcast it to everybody. We've got to figure out how we're coming up short on that.
You know, I never thought I'd be that group that somebody was gunning for. I've discussed this with you and everybody else. You know, one of the biggest social media platforms is what we're on right now is on Facebook. And they pretty much shut me down as far as getting stuff out with the coalition. Real quick, Marcella, you go and throw up the website for the coalition for us. And look, man, you know, we've got a very, you know, we're not going to be able to do this on our own. Right now, some of the majority of the players that are in this nucleus of the coalition have been funding this. We have had some outside donations. There's some stuff we're looking at on just in front of us, but it's real simple to go to our website. And if we could get everybody that's on the show, everybody that sees this, you could do a reoccurring donation to the coalition. And look, man, if you don't think we're doing something in a couple of months, then stop. But I think you're going to be in the end here when you see our end game. And then this isn't a one and done. We want to be that voice for the industry. We want the boots on the ground in DC so this doesn't happen again. You know, but if you take the time, $25, $50, $100 monthly donation, if you're with a towing company, if you can pledge $200 a month, and it's like I said, just do that for 6 months. See if you like what you're seeing and stuff. But we need the entire towing industry to get behind this. We need you to ask questions. I mean, if you have questions, you can email us info at at cshc.com. Shoot us an email. We'll get with you. We got a lot of great people. We can answer the questions, but everybody's going to have to get behind this.
Everybody, right? And look, this coalition is not in competition with any other coalition, no association, national, state. We are pushing in the direction we need everybody to be pushing in, right? This, damn it, for how many years now we've been sitting here saying we need solidarity. We need to come together as an industry. We need to stop all this infighting. Now's that time. It's been that time for a very long time, right? This has been in front of us this entire time. This is it. This is sink or swim time. This is really, really bad. And we've got the legal analysis to tell us just how bad this can be, right? Unfortunately, there's been some people in our industry claiming that this is a non-issue. Don't worry about it. You're insane.
I've had so many conversations with people, Jeff, and I mean, I've always found it fairly easy in life to look at a problem and say, this is a problem. This is going to be the resolution to the problem. It just seems very simple in our industry. We don't have a whole lot of time to make choices and plans. I mean, we're literally on the fly all the time. We pull up, the first thing that says, how long are you going to be here? Well, hold on. Let me get my total pricing together first.
So, when this started in Canada, something very similar came about in Canada recently. I believe it's just one province. I don't think it's the whole country. But there was memes left and right being pumped out showing, a 12-car pileup in a snowstorm, and you've got a tower standing at the window of each crashed vehicle with the occupant still inside, going over an approved pricing list. That sounds ridiculous. That's what they're wanting.
Yeah.
Don't think, that's crazy. No, look to Canada. That's our look into the future right now.
And until they find that contractor to do it, it's like you said, they've literally got tractor trailers parked on the side of the road, waiting for insurance approval. I'm just wondering where the liability is here. So they've left a wrecked, immobilized tractor trailer on the side of Highway 401 in Canada. Some poor grandmother and her granddaughter are driving home from the store in a snowstorm, and they hit this parked tractor trailer that's been there for 3 days waiting for insurance approval.
Yep.
Who's liable for grandma and her granddaughter?
The insurance company, the trucking owner, not the tower.
Yeah, we got Ricky from Ross Towing out of Canada. He's on right now.
I'm watching his comments.
He said, it freaking sucks. The bear says it sucks. So if the bear says it sucks, it sucks. But look, guys, it's like Jeff said, there's no more head in the sand. It's not. It's a, united you stand, divided you fall. It's like Jeff said, hey man, that guy down the road from you, that other towing company that you don't get along with really well, maybe your trucks are shinier than his, or his are shinier than yours, or whatever that case may be. This is going to be the time to sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk. Everybody's going to have to get on board with the same thing. The coalition can't do it by itself. We're already shouldering quite a bit with all the work we've done. And when Jeff talks about the council that we have, we're not playing around. No. I mean, we got some of the top regulatory firms working on this stuff. They know the FTC, they know the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, and everybody's biggest thing. And tell me if I'm right or wrong, Jeff, but it's like I said, I feel, even just in the last month, it just seems like when we talk about something, all of a sudden it's over here. And then we say something, then all of a sudden it's over here, and it's just it's getting. I said it earlier. It's getting really hard to figure out who your allies and your adversaries are.
It's like we're starting to hear echoes of our own words.
Yes.
And it's really weird. It's really weird. But look, that tells me we're doing the right thing.
Obviously,
right?
we have, we've there's a lot of stuff's been going on the last few weeks. People contacting us. There's a lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, Texas is about 3.5 weeks out. There's a lot of stuff our lobbyists are working on, that our council's working on right now. So again, we're going to be at the Texas American Towman Tow Expo in Fort Worth, Texas. We will have another Q&A like we had in Las Vegas. It's going to be on Saturday, the 22nd of June, room 108 in the convention center there in Fort Worth. Make sure you carve out some time if you're at the show. And it's like I said, y'all guys, you got questions, you want to know what the coalition is doing, and it's like Jeff said, we're not in competition with any other entity. We are the coalition, and we're here for the towing industry. Ours is set up a little different. You're not gonna, every penny we make goes to our lobbyists, to legislation, and attorney's fees. If you see us at these Q&As in Las Vegas, you see us in Texas, you're probably going to see us in Baltimore. Believe me, that's on my dime. That's on Jeff's dime.
Yep.
None of our travel, no rooms, no expenses, nothing for our traveling stuff. All the coalition money is going to the lobbyists, attorneys, and legislation. We're working on some stuff about these limits that they're hitting us with. We want to start talking to people about getting the towing industry paid, and let's stop this fighting with the insurance companies. It's ridiculous. It's the same thing all the time. Well, he's only got $5,000 physical damage. Or you get a burn job. Our favorite thing, right, Jeff? A burn job.
Yeah, lovely.
You have nothing left when you get done with these burn jobs. And these cities that have a rotation set up, they're starting to figure this out, because real quick, everybody starts to hear, hey, don't take it. It's a burn job. It's a complete burn. And even my company has been called by counties far, far away saying, hey, can you help us? Yeah. It's a burn job. So you have these burn jobs. Some of these smaller trucking companies or the one-man shows, he might have a whole 13 grand in his truck, his trailer, his little menial insurance policy that he's got. So when it burns, the insurance company's new tactic is payout policy limits to the owner, with his responsibility to come pay us, except we never get paid. So this guy takes the money that they just paid him on those policy limits, goes and spends another $10,000, $12,000, jumps back on the road, stops at a truck stop, gets on a load board, and he goes and he trashes somebody else's load.
Yeah, double brokering is a huge problem, because nobody even knows who's responsible for the load at some point, right? We've run into that again and again. We'll get the bill of lading, we'll get the information on the broker, and if we try contacting the broker, they say, no, we sub that out to another broker. We're not doing this, right? Jonathan Cleaver just asked how to make a donation. If you go to the website, can we get the website thrown back up on the screen? You can go there and you can set up a one-time or a recurring payment. So anything.
He can bring cash and take me to lunch later on this week. But yes, Jonathan, he's a good friend of mine up in Buda, Texas. A great guy. Just go to the website. You're going to see a donate button now. And again, man, if we can get that some type of reoccurring, nothing big, $200, $300, $400 a month. We'd appreciate anything you do with for us, Jonathan.
Yeah, anything. And I would like to see some donations coming in from drivers, some employees, because this is going to affect you too. And $5 a month recurring. it'll make a difference, right?
I mean, you think we've got I think about 39,000 towers in the state of Texas. Can you imagine if those 39,000 licensed towers donated $5 a month? I mean, it's really simple math. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. We're not that group that's coming out and saying, "Hey, we want 20, we want 30, we want $40,000." We're not. We want to. We are for the tone. We're here for the tone industry. We don't want to put any more duress on you with everything that's else that's going on in the industry. So it's like I said, if you're running a medium to large company and you could spare, you know, a $500 a month reoccurring donation, it's like I said, just watch us, see what we do. If you don't like it, stop.
So here's where things get exciting. And this is why we need more support than just to tackle this one problem. We're not going away. After this runs its course, and we really don't know at this point where it's going to land. We know it's coming. We just don't know to what degree it will specifically affect the towing industry, right? We are already having discussions in Washington with trucking associations about low policy limits and these bogus $5,000 policy caps. We're working on the FTC stuff, but we're also already presenting our problems to legislators, right? So we're not stopping. When we talked in the beginning of the show about, it's time for us all to get together and start pushing in the same direction, that's what we're talking about. We're not going away. We're going to handle this problem. We're going to handle the next problem. We're going to handle the problem after that, as long as we're able to. And that takes the proper funding.
Right. That's where these people come in. I want to just take just a minute. I got some really exciting news. Southwest Tow Operators is going to be launching their digital marketing division. It's a really exciting thing for us, but real quick, want to roll a promo for our digital marketing division. Folks, it's Jeff with Southwest Tow Operators. We got some exciting news coming up. Stay tuned. Be looking at the Facebook page on all the great stuff coming up. Southwest Tow Operators digital marketing division is coming. This is going to be great for your Google My Business. If you lose it, to get it recovered. If you want to set it up correctly, there's going to be all kinds of great services. And remember, this is by the towers, for the towers. Nobody can do it better than a tower when it comes to your marketing. So stay tuned for the launch of Southwest Tow Operators Digital Marketing Division. You don't want to miss this, folks. It's going to be great. And if you're a Southwest Tow Operators executive membership or a premier membership, the recovery of your Google My Business page is free. And if you want us to check it out and make sure everything's set up correctly so Google doesn't get you, that's going to be free too. Again, that's free to executive members and premier members with Southwest Tow Operators. Just another reason to be a member with Southwest Tow Operators. Now, see, that's what it's all about. It's all about towers for towers. And hey, everybody, you need to remember with Southwest Tow Operators, even if you're not in Texas and you want to take advantage of some of the stuff that we have, feel free. I mean, this is just another reason for membership. There's SEO discounts, there's website building discounts, promo video discounts. So just be looking for that coming up at the tow show. Some more about the digital marketing. We got a few more minutes here, Jeff. And I guess we can't stress this enough. That we need everybody's help. We're not going to be able to do it by ourselves. Again, we're talking about these reoccurring donations. I'm going to beat it back into your head. If you're going to be at the Texas show on June 22nd, that's going to be Saturday morning, 11 a.m., room 108 at the Convention Center there in Fort Worth. I believe also we do not have a booth number yet, but the coalition will have a booth at the tow show so we can even spend some more time with you about what we're doing and get a little more personal if you want to go on and come by the booth there. So what do you got in closing, Jeff?
Not sure if it's a popular thought, but I think we have to figure out how to start policing our own industry. We've got to get rid of the bad players now that we see so clearly that they can affect the good guy, right? I mentioned earlier, I used to be the guy that minded his own business and just tried to move forward, not put my head in the sand, just worry about myself and move forward, right? But now I see clearly we've got to get these bad actors out of this business. We've got to get rid of them. And I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but it needs to be done, and it's got to come from within the industry. We've got to right this ship.
No doubt. I mean, it's time. It's been a long time coming, but it's time for the towing industry to go on and embrace, good regulation that's going to protect the consumer and maybe weed out some of these bad guys, because we've sat here and we've complained about the guy down the road that's busting people's balls on these tow bills. Ever since this stuff started, I get tow bills sent to me every day. And, I look at them, and when I see a line item for white winch, blue winch, shackle, recovery link, I'm like, we have Houston, we have a problem.
Hey, what's the worst charge you've seen? Or the most ridiculous charge?
It was a $97,000 bill. But my only problem with it, Jeff, and I'm sure you'll understand this. I haven't. It sounds like a bad bill, but I don't have all the evidence. Okay, and I'm not willing to make a call on that just yet. It's just like the ATRI study that was quoting a $201,000 recovery with zero evidence. Now, could that have been a tractor trailer that went off a bridge into a river, loaded with paint, triggered a hazmat response? If that's the case, they took it easy on them. So I mean,
I have looked at a very legitimate $200,000 recovery invoice. Legitimate.
Okay, so let's go back just real quick before you end this. Let's go back to total pricing. Let's go to the 2nd Street Big in Louisville, Kentucky, with Suburban Towing. Yeah. Total pricing?
How?
I mean,
how?
Those guys rocked.
Yep.
That recovery. I don't know if anybody's heard yet. I haven't heard a price on it yet. I've been trying to find out. Everybody's being real quiet about it. I don't know if it's because of what's going on right now, but I mean, I can see that being an extremely expensive recovery.
All right. I saw an invoice where the towing company severely damaged one of their own pieces of equipment on the wreck, and then put all the repair costs for their own equipment on the invoice. The trucking company was supposed to pay for the damage they caused to their own equipment.
So usually when you damage your equipment, there's possibility of a failure. But 9 times out of 10, it's operator error. It's not knowing what it's just not having enough knowledge to do what you're doing at that time.
Oh, it was self-induced damage. It was clearly through their own actions. It wasn't an accident. Something was done that shouldn't have been done. So yeah, it's really wild. Hey, did you hear whether or not there's supposed to be a group up in Canada saying the holiday weekend they were not going to respond to non-life-threatening police tows?
So Ricky's on with Ross.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I did see that they were not going to respond to police calls, but if it was an individual stuck on the highway, that they would respond to them. I don't know if Bear can. He said, well, there he goes right there. Bear said Ross was working. So many times, when we first got into this, Jeff, everybody's like, we just need to lay down for a day. We just need to lay down for a day. That'd be great. It'd be great. But I've got contractual obligations.
Good one, Tim.
I don't know where do we find these guys, but I mean, it'd be great to shut it down, but we can't.
I think it's not in our hearts to do it, right? The majority of us are out here honestly trying to help people. They're in a bad situation. We're trying to help them. We don't want to shut down. I mean, that damages us as much as, anything else. It's a good way to piss off the public, right? There's got to be more well thought out ways of getting there.
It's just like Bear just said. They didn't agree with what was going on, so they weren't going to be a part of it. That's about where me and you are at with some of the people of the coalition. But again, look, if y'all got questions, man, shoot us an email. Message us on Facebook. Message any of us on Facebook. We'll get back in touch with you. Again, I know you're getting sick of me hearing about it, but Saturday, June 22nd at the American Towman Tow Expo in Fort Worth, Texas, we will have our another Q&A with the coalition, 11 a.m., room 108 at the Convention Center. The coalition will have a booth. And again, folks, check out the website. Hit the donate button. We're not even asking for your right arm. All we want is these little bites to help us keep going. So if anything anybody can do to help would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate everybody that's on here tonight. I appreciate the people that come back and look at it. We had a really good show last week with Bobby Tuttle. I just looked at it just a little while ago. That show has got over 7,300 views. I appreciate everybody coming back. So hopefully, Jeff, we're going to touch some people. They're going to get the news. And I believe on June 13th, we're going to be doing another show on Recovery Alley. I'm hoping to have Joe and Jason from Shoemaker, our lobbyist. I believe we're going to have Quinn Pining and Ron Myers. So y'all look forward to that. When we might have a special guest the show before that on June 6th. Still trying to figure that one out. But look, Jeff, I know you're a busy man, busy man. I appreciate you when I shot you the text, just humoring a young man and doing it with me. I just thought it was fairly important. You doing what you do, me doing what I do, all being part of the coalition. It's all for the greater good. So we take an hour out of our day and try to preach to the people. Hopefully they'll listen to us and come back. But look, guys, like I said, no more head in the sand. Y'all want to know something, get in touch with the coalition. You can like us on our Facebook page, TikTok, X, YouTube. We're all over the place. Just search for the National Open Commerce Safer Highways Coalition. What do you want to say before we go, Jeff?
Anyone that wants to can get in contact with me, Jeff at towbusinesspodcast.com. We're going to continue to talk about this a lot on our show. In fact, Friday we're recording a show, and this is going to be a hot topic on there. And the parting thing I want to say is, and I wish I got to this earlier, when I said we need to start figuring out how to police our industry, I'm not talking about this FMCSA what do you want to call it, board that I'm hearing rumblings
that's
of.
A word that's been mumbling around, but we'll go on and use board.
Let's go with board.
Go with board.
It sounds like a terrible idea to me. It sounds awful.
It is a terrible idea. Hey, and also there's a spot on the website page there for the coalition. You fill out that email contact form, you're going to get all our email blasts, know what's going on, the latest stuff from our lobbyists, what's going on with the FTC, what's their response to our letter. So, hey, everybody, let's get involved. Let's do something to raise up to save our industry.
5 people tomorrow. Contact 5 people tomorrow.
That's y'all's homework from Jeff Poquette. Again, Jeff, I appreciate you taking time. I appreciate everybody taking the time to listen. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks on